Welcome back, everybody, to Catching Up with Cassie J. I am Cassie J, and I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope that you guys are enjoying the content. I just plan to continue to give you more. I actually do have a new show that I am adding to the list, and I'll be adding that one up next after this video. It will be Teen Mom 2, but this one I'm going to be doing for you today is the second episode for this. It's like you can say mid-season for the Life After Lockup. So we're going to just jump into this. This one is called Manipulating the Manipulator. And I was like, okay, let's see if we're going to get a little more goodies this time around. Because the last episode, like I said, the first episode, when they come back from the breaks, it's always that, okay, let's see how we're doing type episode. I don't never really expect a whole lot from the first episodes of the seasons, but sometimes they do surprise us. So again, I'm just going to go down the list. We still didn't see those other two couples this episode. So I'm like, maybe next week we'll see you. But nonetheless, it opened up with Angela and Tony again. And at this point, it just seems like Angela is just we're just stuck with her. Like she's just stuck in this place. And I'm like, you're going to take Tony back. So let's just stop playing games. But nonetheless, her sister Donna comes. I like Donna. Like, Donna is like a no nonsense type person. Like, she's like, I'm not here for this. Why are you even playing these games? You're going to take old buddy back. He show up. What you going to do? She was like, I love him. But I just can't keep doing this to myself. She said, well, then don't. And I never understand that about people. Sometimes they be like, well, I don't want to keep doing this. They be like, well, you're the one that's doing it to yourself. Like, you don't have to keep doing it. So you have the power. Just stop it. Like, stop doing it. So she's just talking to her sister about what was going on. And she's like, I found out that he was cheating again. And her sister's like, did you think that he was going to change? She's like, but you don't understand. Like, after he got the halfway house, he proposed to me. And she's like, what you say? She said, I know what you said. You said yes. I know you did. And she was like, I love him. Girl, that ain't love. But if that's what your definition of love is, that's your definition of love. Okay. So later on, Tony comes back like we knew he would, because he already said he's coming back. That's where he was paroled to. He had to come back. Like, he has to be there. So Angela had told him, if you're not here before the street light come on, like when you was a little kid and your mama said, if you're not home before the street light come on, you know what was going to happen to you. You was going to get your ass whooped. So in this case, it was, if you don't come back home before the street lights come on, I'm going to burn up all your stuff. And sure enough, she burned all his clothes up. She's burning his clothes up. And he walks up and he's like, are those my clothes? Well, yep, she told you if you're not here by the time the street lights is here, before it gets dark, I'm going to burn your clothes up. And he's like, that's my stuff. You have to take me back. I don't have nowhere to go. And she's like, I don't care. That's not my problem. You hurt me. I'm just so hurt. And she's like, I'm about to go into my house. He's like, don't you mean our house? I'm sorry. Did you pay a bill here that I didn't know nothing about? Did you put your name on the deed and I wasn't aware? I don't know what kind of conversations they've been having in private that has led him to think that he has rights. Sir, you ain't even been here that long to be putting claims on nothing. But for some reason, he feels it was his house. And he was like, you're going to take me back. We know he's going back to the house. We know she's going to take him back. And you could see it as he's apologizing and he's pleading with her. Please, I love you. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm going to get the help that I need. And I just love you. Please, we can work this out. And she was just like, I'm just too hurt right now, Tony. I'm just so hurt. Girl, just either at this point, either take him back and deal with the lies and the cheating, or don't, so we can just move on from you. Now, Marcelino and Brittany. I didn't realize that Marcelino did not have a job all this time. The way he carries himself and the way he acts, I would have never thought that the man didn't have a job. Let me rephrase this, a real job, like a 9-to-5 job. So Brittany's like, I really kind of want you to get a regular job because, you know, we have these bills. We have this new baby on the way. They have a lawyer bill and they said it's $30,000. It's a lot of money. And he's a poker player. I've seen the poker shows on TV, and I've seen people actually, there's competitions and you can actually make money and win competitions and stuff. So I know it's a real thing. However, you know, when you have a family, you need to be able to do something that is steady and is a steady check with benefits. You can do that on the side, but you need to have something legit coming in. And that's what Brittany was trying to basically tell him. Like, I need for you to have a real job, a steady paycheck that we can count on and depend on, that we know is going to be here every 2 weeks. And he's like, well, you know, I have my dreams, and my dreams is to be a champion, a champion poker player. And I can't have no regular job and still accomplish my dreams. And she's like, well, what you want? What you trying to say? He's like, it's just too hard. And she said, don't tell me about hard. You know, I have a whole criminal background, and you think that I can just go out here and get a job? As soon as they see my record, they're like, oh yeah, we not about to hire you, honey. So I get it. I understand, you know, having a dream and wanting to accomplish it and wanting to make sure you put in the time and the effort to accomplish your dreams. But you also have to be realistic and understand that you also have your responsibilities, and you have to do what you have to do to meet those responsibilities. So you just have to weigh everything out. Take care of your responsibilities first. Do not neglect your responsibilities just to accomplish your dream, if you just can't. So he did go. He met with a recruiter. The recruiter basically gave him a reality check because Marcelino goes in there. He's very confident. He's a very confident guy. He's like, I know I can go in here and get this job. I have education. I have the military background. I'm going to go in here. I got this. I have my bachelor's degree. I have my master's degree. The recruiter was like, so, like, what pay range are you looking for? He was like, 65,000. Like, that's 70,000. Like, that's what I'm looking for. That's about the minimum that I'm looking for. Oh, okay. What's your experience? I mean, I've been a dad for the last, 3 years here. My wife, she has a child that she's brought. I have a newborn, and I have a baby on the way. And it's like, oh, okay. So what does that equivalent to it as far as experience? I mean, time management is my skill set that I definitely know I have. And, that's my experience. And it's like, have you ever worked? What you been doing for the last 6 years? He said, I've been playing poker. The recruiter was like, okay, do you know anything about Microsoft? Do you know anything about the Microsoft Word, Excel? Do you know how to use any of those programs? He was like, I mean, what I know of it, and the rest of it, I mean, I can learn in the basic tutorials. Okay, so let me just break it down to you like this, sir. Based on what you have told me and your experience or lack thereof at this point, it's not looking too promising for you. Like he said, I can't do anything for you based on what you're asking for. You're asking for $60,000, $65,000. I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to give you a job. I'm not going to risk paying you that and you don't have any experience. You don't have work experience. And it's crazy to hear that, because a lot of times it's like people will have experience on jobs, but they don't have the formal education, and they'll be like, oh, you don't have your degree, we can't hire you. But here you have somebody that has a degree and they're saying, oh, you don't have experience, so we can't hire you. And it's just like, sometimes you're just a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think the real issue for him was that when he said that he's been playing poker for the last 6 years, and that's something that he really wanted to do. He was like, so what's going to stop you from going to play poker if we gave you a job? If we gave you a job today, what is going to prevent you from just leaving one day and because you want to go play poker because you feel like you might win? And he was like, but if you're so great at playing poker, why are you even here looking for a job? And he said basically what his wife told him, what Brittany said, because I need to make sure that I have a stability for my family. He said, because poker can be really good 1 month and it can be really bad because it's still gambling at the end of the day. So Marcelino's whole thing was why he didn't want to just go and get like, just a part-time job somewhere like that. He says, he's 41 years old. He ain't about to be listening to no little 23-year-old telling him what to do. He's not about that. Marcelino has a lot of pride. He's a very prideful man. And yeah, he said he's not about to do that. So Brittany asked him after the interview, how did it go? And he was just like, oh, it went pretty good. No, it didn't. It didn't go well at all. They told you no. But, that was just not a conversation that he was ready to have with her. And I can understand that you don't want to add stress to her knowing that this was very important to her for you to do. So Shane and Lacey, they moved into their house. It was a nice house. Lacey was very happy. She was finally a homeowner. It was something she wanted to do for herself and for her kids. And her son was very upset because he didn't want to move. I guess because, moving is hard sometimes for people, especially kids. If you've been in a neighborhood where you have friends and all of that, you move away from your friends and stuff, it's a sad situation. So Shane was trying to comfort him and tell him, don't cry. This is a good thing. It's going to be all okay. It's going to work out. And I was like, that was nice. It's nice to see him trying to adjust to the kids. And Lacey's dad came over, John. Now, don't get this John confused with the ex-boyfriend John. There's two Johns here. And she tells her dad that her ex-boyfriend John had been reaching out to her and was talking about how, he was just going through so much and so on and so forth. And her dad was like, let's leave that in the past. Like, you're married now. Don't be communicating with him. And if you did communicate with him, if you had this conversation, you need to tell Shane, because this is a new beginning for you. You shouldn't start a marriage out not being honest and keeping things from him. And she was just like, I don't want to tell him because I just know he's going to get upset and he's going to overreact. And he was like, well, that's what you're gonna have to do, because that's part of being in a marriage. You got to be honest with each other. So she didn't tell him. Shane finds out on his own because her phone is going off, and he sees it, and it's her friend girl texting her like, well, have you heard back from John? What did he say? Are you still concerned? So he goes outside and confronts her and is like, why are you talking to this man? Why are you keep bringing this man into our lives? And in typical Lacey fashion, she's just like, what are you talking about? Why are you going through my phone? Like, she's like deflecting from the fact that she's done something wrong and she hasn't been honest. And he's like, you need to not talk to him. We're moved past that. We're married now. She's like, you're sounding very insecure. He said, only people that are insecure about things they don't have. I have you. We're married. I'm not insecure about him. I'm just telling you that we don't need him in our lives. And he's being truthful about it. You know that he doesn't mean anything good for you guys. You know there's nothing good that can come out of you talking to him. So why talk to him? You know why you're talking to him. You already said it last episode. You missed having the guy around that was a breadwinner that brought money home, but you don't want to tell your husband that. You don't want to tell Shane that, because then, you know, that's going to be an ego thing for him, and that's going to cause a whole other argument that you don't want to have. So he's upset naturally, and he's just like, I don't understand why you are even continuing to talk to him at this point. What more could you possibly have to say to him? What would be the purpose? I don't want you to talk to him anymore. And Lacey gets upset because she's like, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. You're not going to be out here arguing with me in front of these neighbors out here. We just moved here. People are out here looking at us. So now she's worried about the image and what it looks like to people. I don't even know that we have problems. Every relationship has problems. So they're in their house arguing too. But no, you shouldn't have been out there on the yard arguing. You should have told her to come in the house. Let's talk about this. But them two had an argument last season like that. And she did something. He got upset. He confronted her. And she doesn't deal with conflict too well. She's, you know, the type that she's going to yell and scream. And then she's just going to walk off. And that's what she did. She said, he was like, you know, we're married. We're going to talk about this. We're going to work this out. She was like, oh, well, that can be changed real quick. And he said, there you go, walking away. And she just walked out the house. And I'm like, you can't do that in a marriage. You can't just be walking off. You need to talk to your husband. So I'm pretty sure when she walks out, she's going to go talk to John, but we'll find out next week. But I'm pretty sure that's where she went. Andrea and Lamar. We finally see Lamar because we didn't see him last week. Lamar is still in LA. He is in the studio rapping because Lamar is an inspiring rapper, and he's in there with his brother Dulo. His brother got shot. He was out 3:00 in the morning, and luckily he survived, and he only got shot in his foot, but people was out and he got shot in his foot. And Lamar was like, his brother getting shot wasn't helping his argument to try to bring Andrea back to prove that LA was not bad. Like it was an okay place for the family to be, because that was part of her reason for wanting to leave and stay in Utah, because she's like, this place is not safe. So Lamar calls Andrea on the phone, FaceTimes her, and was like, hey, I miss you. I miss the kids. I want to come out there to see you. And she's like, okay, you can come see us. You know, that's fine. They haven't seen each other in like over 2 months. And Andrea wants to tell the kids about Priscilla, her youngest daughter, being Lamar's real dad. I don't know why the kids have not been told this, but she wants to let the kids know this. So Lamar gets on the plane to come out to Utah. Of course, Andrea's plan is to try to convince him and show him that Utah is the place to be. We're going to see how that goes. And they all make signs for Lamar, the kids, and Andrea. And when they get to the airport, it shows that his plane has landed a while ago, but they don't see him. So now Andrea's getting a little bit of a panic because she's getting upset that she thinks that he's not going to show up. And she's like, if he doesn't show up, like he doesn't worry about talking to me anymore, I'm going to be so upset. You know, I'll never forgive him if he stood us up. But of course he shows up. And the kids are happy to see him. And they was telling them, oh, she was, you know, like a little teenager. And it was nice. Priscilla was really happy to see him. She was probably the happiest. She's always the happiest to see Lamar every time he comes back home, whether he getting out of jail or getting off the plane. So they're in the car and they kind of start talking about the difference between Utah and LA. And Lamar was like, what does Utah offer that LA doesn't? And I was like, there's a major difference between the two. it's a matter of what you're wanting out of life. And, you know, Andrea's like, a better quality of life. The cost of living is cheaper. It's safer. What do you mean? And I was like, this isn't going to go well. I just know this is not going to go well for them too. So I don't know how she's going to convince this man to stay in Utah. I just don't. I don't see how they can continue a marriage living in two different states either. Now, the infamous Megan, Michael, and Sarah. So, Michael is still in Texas with Megan. And he came to see Megan. But, you know, he had to sit down and talk to her dad, because it was like there was no way you was going to be able to keep coming over to that house and picking her up and hanging out with her without running into her dad and not having to sit down. So he sits down with Megan's dad, and he basically was like, why are you here and what is your purpose? Like, what are your intentions? And Michael was like, well, I was here to make amends with Megan. He said, what does that look like? And he was just like, I just want to put everything out on the table. I just want to be honest. I don't think Michael knows what the word honest means exactly. He might want to look that up, the definition. Look it up. Look it up in the Webster's dictionary, because I need you to be clear on the definition, because you're still hiding stuff. So her dad just basically let him know, I don't believe you. I don't trust you. He was like, is it your wife? Is it your ex-wife? What's the status? And he was like, it's still my wife. But I am getting divorced. He said, oh, okay. Did you bring any kind of paperwork? He was like, Megan, did he show you any kind of paperwork? She was like, well, no, he hasn't showed me paperwork yet. And he's like, well, how do we know that this is true? He could have just said this to you like he's been saying everything else. So he's like, I don't believe you, because, I mean, you don't have any proof and I can't trust your word. So that's 2 strikes against you. You know, you lied back then, and then here you come down here telling me something, but you don't have any proof. So yeah, I don't have anything for Michael. Like, me as a viewer, I don't have anything for Michael. Like, I don't even understand. I don't understand. I don't see what she sees in him. I don't know what it is about him. And even listening to her talk about him, like, her dad is just giving her all this great advice, just dropping all this on her. And she's trying to defend it. And she's just like, well, this is what I admire about him. This is what I see the good in him. He's like, so he has these kids. And he's like, how old is your youngest? Oh, she's 5 months. How long? She said, Megan, how long y'all been dating? She was like, about 3 years. He said, like, do the math, baby girl. If he got a 5-month-old, that means that happened while y'all were dating. So what does that mean? And she was like, but that's what I mean. That's what I admire. That's one of the things I love about him, is that, you know, he has such a great relationship with his kids, but he doesn't have a great relationship with his kids. And it's just amazing to me that everything that her dad would say, everything that he would point out about Michael, she was just like, oh, but no, Dad, it's not like that. Oh, but no, Dad, that's the thing. Megan, stop being so dumb. You're a pretty girl. You can do so much better. You need to let that go. That's over and done. Like, been done. It's burnt. So her dad left off with, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe it and let it be. Don't try to give them a second chance, try to paint a different picture. Like, basically, like, let it go. He was like, I don't trust you. I don't want you for my daughter, because I just feel like she can do better. And he was like, I have friends in law enforcement. I have friends that are, you know, a warden at the prison. So watch it. He said, I will take a bullet for my daughter. He said, and I'll give out a few if I need be. So I just don't see where this is gonna go. Now, Sarah, back home with her friend, shows that she had pulled up Michael's phone records and his bank statements. And the phone record shows, all these different states where he's been calling all these different girls, which I wasn't surprised about because, like I said last week in the car, it shows that he got a phone call from some other girl that wasn't Megan or Sarah. And then it shows his bank statements, all these Cash App transactions that he was getting from all these different people. And then she said, but as you see, he's getting all this money. He had got like over, I think she said, $1,200 in 1 month in transactions from all these girls. She said, but none of it came to me. So you're not taking care of your kids. You don't work, but you're getting girls to send you money to live this lifestyle that you're trying to live, but you're not taking care of your kids. You won't even answer your kids' phone calls. She said, so I'm paying the phone. Now, this is what I thought was dumb. You paying his phone bill and his car insurance. So she said, I'm about to cancel both of them. I'll be damned if I'm paying your phone bill and your car insurance and you not. Let 30 days go by and I'm paying your phone bill and you don't answer my phone calls and we haven't had a conversation on why you haven't. It'd have been cut off after the first 30 days. I would not be continuing to pay your phone bill and you not doing with it what I was paying for it for. So overall, it was another okay episode for me. I think Clint and Tracy are supposed to be on next week. Tracy's back in jail, so I'm looking forward to see what happened, what she done did now. So I will see you guys again next week with the next review. I'm gonna show this Teen Mom for you guys up next. So thank you for your support and see you on the next video.